Okay guys, welcome back. It's like the second or third day on this project here, and I'm gonna go over what we did. So we got the motor up in the air as you see, and as you see it's up in the air like I was just saying, and we got most of it clean. Let's check it out. So the block actually is pretty good already. I haven't even scuffed it yet. I've just been taking the rust off and stuff. I'm leaving the oil dipstick tubing because I don't want it to break in there and cause havoc. And quite frankly, I'll scuff it up and it can be painted black at the same time anyways. It's not leaking from there, it's having no issues. So I pretty well took everything off except for a couple sensors, which honestly, if these two sensors get painted, the one on the front, one on the back, it's no big deal. I did take the front assembly off. Now you did see this had water. And when it had water, it was seized. I know it doesn't really show now, but Jeff came over. It was hard to video because I had to hold the motor at the same time. But this piston was seized. We ended up beating it down with a rubber mallet, and then we cleaned up the edge that was created with a red Scotch-Brite pad, and it moves freely now. So let's pray it works. I did pull out the other motor right down there. We were going to prep that one instead, but this one was already halfway done, or 3/4 of the way done, and I didn't want to disassemble that one for no reason. That one spins freely. It has 130,000 kilometers on it. It has cams, cam gears, but none of that pertains to this because we're putting Crane 18s in this. So please pray for me. Let's hope to God that when we get this in, it works. Now I have been soaking rust off around the cylinder, right through here in all 4 cylinders, to make sure that the grease or the lube can get down in there, and hopefully the ring isn't seized, and hopefully it frees up. So it does move up and down quite freely, so I'm hoping that it will be good. Let's face it, the Roadster is not a powerhouse, so will it work? Hopefully. Do I know? Not at all. So you see the back side here, I've been scuffing that up as well, just getting it ready to clean up. It's been painted at one time before, and I did take off the clutch, flywheel, and the plate here, because the plate I'm going to powder coat black, because you will see like in here with it. So that is what we're going to do. Now on to the transmission. So the transmission is filthy, still dirty. You can see that we've cleaned quite a bit of it. I bought some brushes. I was scrubbing it, but there's so many nooks and crannies. I'm afraid that it's going to peel. So I've not done it before. We're going to take this apart, and what we're going to end up doing is we're going to put this in the oven. So we're going to powder coat it. So my plan is we're going to take the transmission apart, we're going to powder coat the bow housing and transmission case, and then we'll powder coat the brackets, which we already planned, and the nuts and bolts, and we'll get it back together. So I think what's going to end up happening is the block will go black. This is going to go like a cherry, raspberry purple powder coat with black brackets, black bolts, and the motor will go black with the cherry raspberry brackets and alternator and things like that. I'm going to powder coat. And the obviously the oil pan will be powder coated as well. So we're going to kind of go back and forth with the coloring. So maybe it's for the best, but either way we can get this into the sandblasting cabinet and make sure that all the nooks and crannies are there and it won't peel. So that's where it puts us right now, guys. I still need to finish cleaning this up. Again, I haven't really scuffed it up at all. It's just been, I used a greaser, I used some oven clean, some stuff like that. Don't judge the ratchet strap around the 2 head studs. Or the red head bolts, but it works. It gets it up off the ground. It gives me a chance to paint. So we still need to clean my hands because I can't do any of this greasy. But we still need to finish off the engine bay, take the front bumper off so I can scuff up the front bumper and decide if I'm going to paint in there or not. And if I do, I'm going to have to do it today because we are going to paint the engine bay at the same time. So we're going to paint the engine bay. We're going to paint the block, so purple, black, and then hopefully next week our new head gasket, time belt, water pump, oil pan gasket, all that stuff comes in. I can start powder coating everything, and then we can get it put onto that. So it's going to be a busy week. As you see here, we do have quite a bit of stuff that needs to be done for the car show that's coming up in April. That's the red and black SRT we've been working on, and well, the Civic trucks list is even bigger. So less talking, more working. Now obviously this will dry off, and before I even go to lay my epoxy primer, I'm going to take my blowgun one last time and get any of the residue off, so it will evaporate. It's hard to get it all. I put a lot on there, probably more than I should have. It's probably been pretty well degreased as it is, because it's been 2 cans of engine degreaser and then oven cleaner and then scraping it with a brush and my hand, and so it should be pretty good. I'm kind of disappointed on the transmission, so hopefully taking apart the transmission isn't that big of a deal, but I haven't really done one in a Neon before, so time will tell. So this part here is done, other than I'm going to tape up obviously the plugs, and I'm going to tape up where the head gasket goes so no overspray goes into the cylinders, and then we'll go from there. But I'm going to clean up my hands, and then we're going to jump up on the Roadster. So once I'm done moving some stuff around and cleaning up, guys, we'll get onto that. Okay, so we got the car up in the air. We're going to take the rims off. That way I can undo the air ride struts. I'm just going to let it all come down a little bit. I just want it out of the way. And then I'm going to lower the car down as low as possible. I got to take the front intercooler off. I think I'm going to paint the front here as well, because it's just old. It's been 10 years. You know, I might just take a grinding buffer wheel and just knock off a lot of the flake, and then just bed line the front. And then what I'll do is after the bed line dries is we'll paint it at the same time as we paint the engine bay. So we got a little bit of work to do here, and you guys are just going to sit back, watch, and enjoy, guys. Okay, so with the intercooler off, I can now clean that up. And the whole point of taking the struts off is, if you look, you see now I can get in here with the sander. And what I'm going to do is just feather that out. And then I'm going to redo my struts anyways, the upper top mounts, because they were starting to be a little flaky. Now, there's a couple things that you probably won't see in here. Not at all. It's dark. But I plan on repainting in here anyways. It's actually pretty still good, so we're going to leave that be for now. So all I need to do is drop this strut down. And then what I'll do is I'll get ready to start prepping the other sides. So the other thing I'm going to do is take some truck bed liner, and I'm going to spray the bottom of the rad support, probably the rebar, and just in the wheel well or the hump where the header would go, just to clean it up a little bit. And then I'm going to let it dry for a couple hours. We'll come back out here and then we'll finish prepping, and then we'll paint. Alright, so let me show you what I did. I did do the bottom rad support that I just grounded off real quickly. I did the upper rebar. I missed a couple spots that I'll fix. And then I only did the bottom part there where it's harder to sand, just to clean it up a little bit. And you won't notice it once the motor's in spot anyways. Not worried about the K-frame because that's going to be poured 15, so I got to prep it all and paint it all anyways. And then we are doing a manual rack. So we're going to let this sit for a couple hours. We'll come back, we'll finish prep, and then we'll plastic this, we'll clean up that bed, and we'll paint the block, and we'll paint the engine bay, guys. Okay, so now that the bed line is still tacky, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish prepping around here. You can see that there's still a shiny spot, so I'm going to go around here. I'm not going to worry about where the bolt holes are, because we do have a strut bar that goes across it, which will cover this whole area up. So I'm just gonna knock down a couple spots. I'm gonna peel the tape off. I'm going to wax and grease remover some of the fenders and stuff. We're gonna wrap the car with plastic after I tape up the spots. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that, let's see here, I can do this. Oh yeah, just like that. So what's gonna end up happening is I'm gonna do that, and I'm just gonna make sure that we get that taped nice and tight on that edge, so I don't have to do any black paint because I don't want to, and I'm not going to be honest. So let's have some fun with this. Okay guys, we are done. Everything is taped up, everything's wrapped up, everything's good to go, except for one issue, which we'll show you in a second. So you see here, we got it all taped up. We got the front done. Rock garden stuff's on, bed line's on, everything's taped up the way it is. Now, like I said, the K-frame I'm not too worried about because that's being painted black when this is all said and done with anyways. And then let me show you the motor. So the motor's over here. It's good. It's ready to go as well. Just basically blow it off and shoot some epoxy primer. And like I mentioned before, the transmission in here somewhere is going to be powder coated. Now I'm sweating. I got the heat crank right up in here. The wood stove is a blasting. It's perfect temperature to start painting. The only issue is, if you guys watched the video of me priming the Civic truck, the gun was starting to act funny. It was only a cheap gun, so I just said enough with it and it went in the garbage. And my DeValvis guns are all apart. That need to be cleaned really bad and probably some new parts added. So I meant to pick up a cheap Princess Auto paint gun. They're like 40 bucks. They're good for a one-time use type thing. And well, today I forgot all about it. They're closed and it's paint day. Now, if you watched the last video, guys, I forgot that I got rid of the crap gun, but I did take some time and I did clean up my DeValvis. So I have my DeValvis gun here with some sealer in it, and then I have the block ready to go and that ready to go. So what I need to do now is just blow it all off, and then we are good to start laying some sealer, and then we'll mix up our black base. We'll do the black base first, and then we'll jump on over to the car. Now I'm not going to worry about painting obviously the oil pan because that's going to be powder coated. I'm not going to get any paint on this side or this side. So let's see what we can do with this, guys. So we do have the sealer dry enough to put base on. So I mixed up the black first. I'm going to spray the motor, 2 coats on the motor, and then I'm going to jump over to the purple and we'll do the purple together. So we got two coats of black on the motor, and we have one small coat of purple on the Roadster, and then one heavier coat. I'm going to do one more just because all the curves, and then we are going to call it a day and just lay some clear. Now I don't really want to get out there with the GoPro now because there's so much overspray floating around, and well, I don't have the money to buy two GoPros, so I'll show you through the window. So it's kind of dirty. You can't really see because the window is. Look how dirty the window is. But there it is there. Motor's sitting there. Usually we do it in this bay, but the Civic truck has been taking this bay up for quite a long time, so, and I want to get both these done. So we're going to leave it at that, guys. I'll bring you back when it's all cleared, and then we'll show you the shine once it dolls out. So I'll clear it, and then I'll let it sit for an hour or so, and then I'll come out and we'll peel some stuff off, guys. Okay, so not done. Gonna call it a night. I went and had a shower and stuff, so I'm gonna show you a couple issues we ran into, and then we're gonna have to fix it tomorrow. So I was putting my first coat of clear on. As you see, the color does look really, really sharp until you get about here, and then you'll see it's already dry. But if you can get up close, it spit a whole bunch of water out of my gun. You'll see the orange tinge through here. So this was only not even a full coat of clear. I was in mid-clear when it did that. So I tried to tint my clear and continue on with it. It didn't work out too well. So I'm gonna have to let it dry. So it's not even a full coat of clear on that. That's why it looks that way. But I'm gonna have to drain my tank and re-prep this whole surface. Yay me. But you will see in here, this was one light coat of clear, and actually it did look pretty good. So I'm gonna probably try not to untape this, and I'm gonna try cheating and then just scuff it all up and then repaint it. So we'll be back on another one. I'm gonna tie this in with the last video, guys. I appreciate you checking me out, and we'll definitely catch you on the next one.